Light the Fire 2022. How are you guys? Hey, how many of you know it takes a tremendous amount of coordination and vision and, dare I say, bullheadedness to pull off an event like this? I don't care whether it's virtual or in person, a hybrid. Event planning is a beast. I've worked in it myself, and so right off the bat, I want to tell Connell Cuffey and the whole team at Light the Fire, thank you. Thank you guys for putting this on. Thank you for making it a priority to invest in leaders. We need this. And so I really, really appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'll tell you, I was talking with Connell behind the scenes before this event, and it was kind of a beast to put on. I mean, we were talking, and he would just get so worked up sometimes, and he'd be like, F this and F that. And if you know Connell, that's not like him. It's not like me. I don't really like to use a lot of strong language. I hate saying the F word. If I can use any other word than the F word, I'm going to use it. But man, Connell was so worked. He was, sure enough, he was just like, failure this and failure that, and success is cool, but failure is fuel. And you guys thought I was talking about a different F word, weren't you? Yeah. But for me, failure might as well be the big F-bomb. You know, failure, that is the F word to me. I hate saying the word failure. I don't want to be associated with failure. I don't want my business to be a failure. I don't want to work on any projects or any companies that are called a failure. I hate failure. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to take a risk just for you guys, Light the Fire. I'm going to tell a story about one of my biggest failures in life. So just let's know on the front end, I hate failure. I hate admitting I'm a failure, but I'm going to share this story with you guys. So a week before my high school graduation, I was in a devastating car accident. You might be able to see some of the pictures on the screen, but this is no fender bender. My car went off the road, down a steep embankment, through a tree. It burst into flames. The dashboard collapsed on my legs, cut them off. The steering wheel pinned me to my seat. And if it hadn't been for this good Samaritan lady who saw the flames from the exit ramp, she risked her life and the life of her unborn baby. She was pregnant at the time. She climbed in the back seat and stayed with me. She called 911. She tried to keep me calm. Of course, I'm screaming, pulling up my legs. Everything's on fire. 911 crews came. They cut the roof off of the vehicle. They pulled me out with what they call the jaws of life, flew me to the nearest hospital, and miraculously, I survived. So you guys know the end of that story because I'm standing right here. But I don't remember any of that. I don't remember the day of the accident. I don't remember how the accident happened. All I remember is waking up the next day, and I had deep, ugly scars all over my body. I had a huge gash in my face, a hole in my cheek. My teeth were knocked out. I had big gashes in my legs. I wasn't sure if I was going to walk again. Big scars on my side, and I just had a million questions running through my head, like, why did this happen? Why me? Why now? I mean, I'm a teenager. It's high school. It's graduation week. I'm thinking about walking across the stage. I'm thinking about prom, and all of a sudden, I'm on my back and I'm in bed, and I've got scars all over me. And I'm so thankful. I had a ton of family and friends who were so supportive. They would come and they would talk to me and they'd say sweet things like, Melody, the scars are barely noticeable, and this will all go away. And gosh, it's such a miracle that you're alive. we can't even see the stitches. You're still beautiful. And I'll level with you guys. I haven't told a lot of people this, but I felt angry. The accident just felt really senseless, really pointless, came in a bad time. I felt angry. And people would tell me, you got to be grateful. You got a second chance at life. And I felt, honestly, I felt embarrassed. I felt ugly. I'm a teenage girl with stitches all over my face trying to go to prom. And I felt embarrassed. And people would remind me, they would say, there's bigger things at work here. There's something big, that's all going to come of this. And I felt, honestly, I felt depressed. I felt hopeless, kind of like, where do I go from here? This terrible thing happened to me. It doesn't make any sense. Just knocked my feet out from under me. But they reminded me, they said, there's something big in store for your life. You were saved for a reason. And so all that summer, I processed, I thought about what they were telling me, and I started to believe it. And I thought, you know what? Maybe this did happen for a reason. Maybe there is some really big thing for me to accomplish in life. And, I've been given a second chance at life, and I got to make the most of it. And so, I don't know if you've ever been through a life or death situation, but it just kind of, it changes things a little bit where you're like, you know what, guys, we could drop dead at any minute. So let's get to it. Let's get to work. Life is precious. And so that's what I did. I got up, I got dressed, and I got to work chasing that really, really big destiny for my life. So I don't know why I did this, but immediately out of high school, I got to work. I felt like this tremendous sense of urgency, like there was no time to waste. So instead of just being a normal person and getting one job, I got 4 simultaneous jobs right out of high school to start saving for college. So then I went to college, and I didn't take on the normal amount of credits that people get. I said, you know what? I'm going to finish a 4-year degree in 2 years. And I'm not just going to get 1 degree. I'm going to get 2 degrees. And after I get my degrees, sure enough, I went straight into the business world. I tackled the most demanding jobs that I could find. Just work. Married my high school sweetheart, had 2 beautiful kids. And if you fast forward just a few years ago, I was working with a really strong company on my way to finally get that 6-figure salary, senior level position, on the top of my game. And I felt like I was finally at a place where I would have the influence I needed to do that big thing in life. And so you can imagine my surprise when about 2 years ago, I started to get this nudge, this voice, this annoying voice. Have you guys ever had one of those annoying nudges or one of those annoying voices that just won't leave you alone? And the voice got bigger, and it was telling me, it's time to step away. And so, of course, I argued with the voice. I just made it, and I said, but we're right now, like we're on the edge of something big. I'm about to get into that C-level position that all the women are trying to get. It's time to step away. Are you kidding me? Like after everything I've sacrificed, after all the hard work, all the extra credits, all the long hours, it's time to step away. And you got to think, this was like March 2020, but there's a pandemic going on, and I can't abandon my company in the middle of a pandemic. It's time to step away. But God, what if I never do anything big? And you see, that was the thing. That was the big question. That was the thing that hit me like a ton of bricks. What if I never do anything big? And maybe you've been there. I know for me, after that car accident, I kind of felt like the stakes were higher, like the stakes had doubled, and and failure was not an option. I felt like I had to succeed and I had to do something big with my life, because if I did do something big with my life, then that meant that all of that pain and all that senseless accident, it was all coming around and it all made sense. And maybe you've been there, maybe it wasn't a car accident or a life-threatening, life or death situation. Maybe it was. But when we go through hard times in life, things that blindside us and knock us off our feet, I mean, gosh, we just went through 2 years of quarantine. I mean, that blindsided all of us. And so when that happens, it's like we feel this pressure to make something good out of it and turn it into a success, and we have to succeed. Failure's not an option. Maybe you launched off and started your own business this year. Maybe you finally put that passion project into action, and you look at it, or you look at your family and your finances, and you say, failure's not an option. I have to succeed. I have to do something big. I've risked too much. I have too many people counting on me. What are they going to say if I launched off and this turns off to be nothing and I never do anything big? And I mean, we're all leaders and entrepreneurs. You guys know it's like it's wired in us, this feeling of go big or go home. And so we keep on looking for the big. And when we don't see the big, when our company doesn't turn out to be a success and our video doesn't go viral, and we don't hit the Fortune 500 list, then we go home and we tuck our tail under our legs. Go big or go home. We try the next thing and just kind of quietly move on to something else. Go big or go home. And to be honest, I feel like that was my biggest failure. I was in that cycle of just looking for something big, and when I didn't find it, I'd try something else. I'd work harder. I'd put in extra hours because it just never felt like enough. And so I want to tell you guys, I think I've found something better than go big or go home. So here's the rest of the story. So going against every ambitious bone in my body, I listened to that annoying little voice that said it's time to step away. And I resigned from my career. I left the company, a great company, great people. I left the paycheck. I left this crazy pace of life that I'd created for myself. And I finally took some time to think about, what does success and failure really mean to me, and why am I so obsessed with making it big? Here's what I found. The minute that I stopped chasing the big things, the so-called successes, I started to see that the little things are what really matter. And I know that sounds like some dumb, corny Hallmark card. The little things are actually the big things. And nobody wants to hear that, especially not all of us in this room who are leaders and entrepreneurs. But it's true. Gretchen Rubin, she's an author, and I love this quote. She says, "What you do every day matters more than what you do every once in a while." I'll say it again because I love it. You'll see this quote all over my social media if you go check it out. What you do every day matters more than what you do every once in a while. And so if that's true, the real impact of our lives is in those little unseen everyday moments, Like when you respond to that Facebook post with kindness instead of sarcasm, or when you put down your phone to sit on the floor and play with your kids, or when maybe there's a new employee and you spend a little extra time, helping them learn the ropes, or maybe it's not cutting corners on projects and just working with integrity. It's the little things, the everyday things, the unseen, boring things that are really, really big things. And here's why I think that's so important. And this is what I really want you to hear today. And I want you to take this, put it in your pocket, put it in your notebook. The world does not need more successful people. Call me wrong. I don't think we need any more successes. We don't need any more celebrities. We don't need any more influencers. We don't need any more impressive people. What we are dying for right now are people of character. And unfortunately for my ego, and unfortunately for your ego, I think some of the most character-building opportunities that we have right now are not in the spotlight, not at the top of a Fortune 500 company. Maybe it is. I'm not saying the big things are bad. I'm just saying I think we're forgetting how important those little things are, those little character-building moments in our life. And so you might be going through something tough right now. You know, your business maybe isn't taking off. Maybe, you've taken a lot of risks. It feels like you're unseen. It feels like you're unheard. Your work doesn't matter. Nobody notices. The video didn't go viral. Nobody's liking my posts. You might feel like a big fat failure. But I just want to remind you that it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of grit to do the little things and to be faithful in the little things. And so that's what I'm doing right now. You might look at my career path that I was on, the salary I could have made, the people I could have influenced, and you might look at what I do now and say it's a big fat failure. Bring on the F-bombs. That's my biggest characteristic right now. I run a small business out of my home. I spend a lot of time with my husband and my 2 kids. We live pretty simple. I actually have time for my hobbies. I actually have time for my friends. It's the little things. I have the time to pay attention to the little things. And so 1,000 times over, I would rather be doing the little things and building character than chasing those big things and chasing success. So you guys can go to a lot of business conferences, a lot of events like this. You can hear amazing speakers, and there's an amazing lineup this whole day, so I hope you guys will stick around. But when you go to business conferences, they're going to hype you up, and they're going to tell you, success is possible. Are you willing to do what it takes to be successful? Are you ready for the big field? Are you ready for the big game? Are you willing to do what it takes to build wealth, to build success? And they'll hype you up. And I feel like I've got a harder question for you. And that's, are you willing to do the little things? Are you willing to do what it takes to build character? Because that's what we really, really need. I'm ready to do the little things. Are you? Thank you guys for your time today.